Alright, so as of today is Sunday, but as of Friday, I am no longer an automotive technician. I have been in the industry for 7 years. Started when I was like 19, I'm 27 now, and I finally had enough. Now, I just want to make it clear at the beginning of the video that these experiences are my own, and my experiences are my own opinions, and everyone could have their own opinion based on their own experiences. And everyone should make up their own opinion based off their own experience, not on my own. But I feel like it would be nice to have my thoughts out there on the internet. So getting into it, really growing up, I really wasn't much of a gearhead, as you can tell from my background. I'm much more of a gamer than someone who is wrenching all the time. My first introduction into automotive is when I went to high school and I just signed up for auto shop class, and I did it in my junior year of high school up to my senior year. And I'll be honest with you, I had no idea what the fuck was going on in those classes. I had no clue. Had no idea what the heck a piston was. Graduating high school, had no idea how the brakes worked. No fucking clue how a car worked. All I knew is coming out of high school, I really wanted to learn how a car worked, and I was kind of like really dead set on like this is kind of what I wanted to do. Growing up, I kind of liked fixing my bike, getting my hands dirty. I thought that was kind of fun, and I've always wanted to learn the ins and outs of a car and just how things worked, and so that's what I thought I wanted to do, and so that's what I did. I finally went to college. I didn't go to UTI. That stuff was way too expensive for me. If you went to I wouldn't suggest not going to UTI if you're going into it, unless you're dead set on it and you want to learn something very specific, and they offer that, but it's way expensive. I know people who are still paying on it and they really regret it. I went to a community college here locally around in my area, and really it was awesome. They got me up on my feet and they taught me everything I needed to know, and it was highly professional and very clean, and I just did it. And I paid everything out of pocket, 2 jobs at one point to pay for it, but I did it and I was really proud of myself. I met one of my best friends there in college, and yeah, and I don't regret going to college because I learned a lot and it was awesome. When I was going to college, I landed a mentorship one time at the small independent shop. Ever since I did that mentorship, I remember working at that small independent shop, and I was always like, dude, this is the shop I want to work at. It was such an awesome small little shop. That was the one. I had my eyes set on that shop, and I told myself I had a goal. This is the shop I want to work at, right? And so I was first working at a little pizza joint, and I eventually left the pizza joint, and I was still in college, and I went to a dealership down the street from college, and I was working as a lube tech and a tire tech for a little bit, and then eventually worked my way up to becoming a flat rate technician. I was doing brakes all the time, fluid flushes, alignments, and I eventually left the dealership, and then I went to that dream small shop and got a job there, and I was doing a little bit more sophisticated repairs, heavier repairs, and I had my dream job. That's what also made this decision so much more harder. I didn't leave on bad terms or anything. So what led up to that decision of me leaving that place is there's a lot of things. The biggest one is the pay's not worth it. Obviously, that's the big one. You're going to be putting money into your career. You're going to be buying a lot of tools. And when I say tools are expensive, I really mean it. Like, you're going to be spending thousands and thousands of dollars into tools. I think I'm probably $10,000 into my tool. So for the example, some of the tools you'll have to be buying is like an electronic torque wrench, and you're going to want a good one. You're going to want one that has some torque angles on there, because you're going to have torque to yield bolts, torque specifications, and you need those angles. And so you're going to need like a name brand electronic torque wrench, Snap-on, Cornwell, Matco, Mac, any of those, and those are going to be probably around to $500 to $1,000 just for one wrench. That's not even including the sockets that you need. So then, do you want 1/2 inch, 3/8, 1/4 inch, deep, shallow, impact? Like, if you buy all those socket sets, let's just say from Snap-on, you're probably in at $3-4 grand, not including the electronic torque wrench. That's $5 grand right there. You don't even have a toolbox yet, too. That toolbox is going to be another 10 grand. So yeah, it adds up really fast, and it's just, you need to find a place that has like a tool compensation program or something, because it's not worth it if you're going to be investing your money into your career and you're not getting compensated for it. It makes you almost feel for the teachers that have to buy all this stuff for their classrooms and they don't get compensated for it. It sucks. And on top of that, you have constant education. Technology is always changing. You got the Teslas coming out, you got cars that are driving themselves, you have auto start stop technology, electronic power steering. The world is ever evolving and you have to evolve with the world. So you have to constantly keep up with the technologies to properly diagnose and fix these things. And so there's classes after work, there's schooling you have to do, there's quizzes, there's certifications you have to get. It never ends. For example, a doctor, I don't know for sure, so take this with a grain of salt with how much schooling they have to do. I never went to school to be a doctor, but with a doctor, I don't think the human body changes much, right? Do they have to go to school to learn how something changed in the human body? I don't know, but I know as a technician you do. And when it comes to the pay, too, most of the time at an automotive shop, you don't get paid by the hour. I mean, it depends where you work too. You get paid a flat rate system, so you get paid by the hours that you sell. So say you sell a brake job, that brake job pays 2 hours, you do that brake job in an hour, you just get paid 2 hours for an hour of your time. You know, there's a high benefit, but then there's a high negative to it. If you do that brake job that pays 2 hours in 3 hours, then you only get paid 2 hours in the 3 hours of time that you've worked. And so it could be a real great thing, but it could also be a real slap in the face. Like, for example, when it was 2020 during COVID and I was a flat rate technician working over at the dealership, that shit sucked. I remember sitting around in a circle with a bunch of other technicians and we would take turns on getting a car, because there would be only like one customer coming in through the door like every hour. And so I wasn't getting paid a lot right there. And I mean, when I was literally not getting paid. I was just sitting on my phone doing nothing. You may ask, like, well, why didn't you leave and take the furlough? It was because at the same time, that company that I was working for said, if you leave, you're going to basically be quitting. And if you quit, then you can come back. We'll have a job for you, but you will lose all the benefits you have gained throughout the years that you have worked here. So the 2 weeks of vacation time that you get after 5 years or after 3 years of working here, you will have to work here 3 years again to get those 2 weeks of vacation time back. And so I wasn't ready to risk that. And so that really sucked. So that's one of those times that the flat rate pay really sucks, but then also at the same time, it's really beneficial when you can start selling stuff. But when you start selling stuff, that also brings out another side of you that is greed. You know, you will be selling stuff that really is not needed. I can tell you that I've sold like valve covers leaking. That's not really that bad. I've sold transmission fluids. That's like, it's like bad, but I could go another couple thousand miles on it, no problem. But when I tell the customer it's bad, you need to do it now. All these fluid flushes and spark plugs, you know, like stuff that like cars really don't need, but you need to sell it because that's how you get paid. You get paid by jobs that you sell. So you need to sell jobs. So you're going to sell jobs that really is not needed. And then you're going to be dealing with a lot of shitty attitudes. You have people who are in the industry for a long time. They've been dealing with shitty attitudes. They've been dealing with shitty warranty times. They've been dealing with shitty parts, shitty designs, and they're tired of it. Shitty pay. They're tired of it, and yeah, they're gonna tell you how they feel, and they're not afraid to tell you how they feel, and you just be ready for that. Service advisors. One of my biggest problems with service advisors, at least where I worked, is service advisors usually always get paid more than the technician. And the reason why this is wrong for me, that I think, is because, like I said before, the technician has all this constant schooling that they have to go through and this money they have to put into their career. And the service advisors get paid more than the technician. Now, who is a service advisor, right? Service advisor is the middleman between the technician and the customer. So when you're calling the shop as a customer talking about your car, you're talking to the service advisor, not the technician. The technician is just a big old dummy. Me, I'm the dummy. Here I am, big old dummy right here, right? And I don't know how to talk to customers, right? I cuss a lot. I can't be cussing to customers, so they have the service advisors, right? What he does is he talks to the customers. He relays the message that I have to the customer about their car, orders parts, quotes them what it's going to be, yada yada yada. That's what he does all day, right? Answers phones, orders parts, talks to customers, right? Now they get paid more because they're also working multiple technicians, right? They got 2 or 3 technicians and they're reaping the sales off of those technicians. And so yeah, it kind of makes sense why they get paid more, because a technician can only reap the benefits of what he personally sells, whereas the service advisor reaps benefits of 3 technicians. That was one of the things that grinded my gears the most, is you would have someone who sits on their ass all day, getting paid more than the person who brings in the actual meat and gravy into a shop. There's no way that they should be getting paid more than technicians, especially with all the time and money that technicians have to put into their career compared to a service advisor. Now, what will I think will fix the industry is, just want to make this very clear because I know this might make some people angry, but honestly, what I think will fix it is the union. Honestly, because I don't have the answers to what will fix the automotive industry. I can't tell you. What I can tell you is there is people in the unions and experts who can give the answers and help people get the right compensation and the right benefits. I'm not an expert, right? But when you look at stories of the workers over there on the East Coast who've gotten that pay increase from like $30 to $60, it makes you really wonder, like, why these big corporations hate unions so much. Is it because maybe they're successful at getting the benefits for their employees, and now those corporations have to pay their employees more? Is that why they all have all these anti-union ads, you know? And I think what they would be coming up with, though, obviously, is better benefits, better compensation, and tool compensation. That would be, obviously, those would be the best changes to come out of the automotive industry, but I don't think it would happen. I don't think it's going to be coming anytime soon, especially in a state where I work at, because the state I live in is a right-to-work state, so there's definitely no unions. It's not going to be happening. So, I just don't see the automotive industry changing here in the state that I live in for a long time. And so, if you want to make it as an automotive technician, the best way to do it is to just work for yourself. If you're just trying to learn it, then it's not too bad just to go under someone's wing and just kind of learn from them and kind of get the hang of it. Like, really, that's not a bad option too, but really you're not going to get fairly compensated for what you do at the end of the day. Would I suggest going into automotive as a career choice? Right now, I would not suggest it if you're just going into it as to repair vehicles like I went into it as. I would go into automotive like, if you ever go onto TikTok and you see Dave's Auto Shop and they're like building engines and building cranks, actually machining cranks and rebuilding engines, and like that stuff looks pretty cool and that looks pretty fun. That's pretty cool, and I feel like you should go out and do that. That's my own opinion. You know, everyone has their own opinions on what they want to do. Maybe you want to go work on supercars. You know, that's another option. Maybe you want to go build cars. That's another thing you could do. If you want to just go into it just repairing cars, I feel like it's just going to really burn the passion out of you, and it's just not worth it for the compensation. If you're in it trying to get some money, I feel like your better option is to go in it and be a service advisor. That's the better way of going. I'm just some guy, you know, who's only been in the industry for 7 years, you know. So really, what do I know? And so, I just thought I should go on to here and rant about what my biggest problems are as the automotive industry. It's losing another technician. There's a lot of technicians leaving, and I finally understand why there's a lot of technicians leaving. And today, automotive industry lost another technician. And so I will try to figure out what's next for me, right? And so just kind of curious on what your guys' thoughts are on what could fix it. Curious to see what you have to say, and maybe leave a subscription. I don't know. Thanks.